Enter, rejoice, and log in. One more time. Enter, rejoice, and log in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and log in.
Good morning. The chalice is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. If you have a chalice or a candle at home, it is time now to light it together as we say the same words we say each week at our fellowship.
We are doing Tracy's and we're gonna light the chalice.
Okay, here we go. Ready, Alice?
Here we go. Look.
See, we light this flame as a symbol of new life, enlightening our way, as a symbol of the warmth in every human heart. Let the lighting of this flame rekindle in us the inner light of hope, of peace, of love. May we share that light with all people.
Good morning. I am Marie Luna, the Director of Congregational Life. Thank you for welcoming us into your home today. It is good to be together, even when we have to be physically apart. If you are joining from another Unitarian Universalist congregation, welcome. If this is your first time visiting the fellowship, I want to extend a special welcome. I will put my email address in the chat box, and I hope that you will send me a note of introduction. I'm happy to help you get connected. Today's service is being led and supported by Allie Peters, our intern minister, Catherine Tollefson, our lay worship leader, Steve Seek, our music director, our wonderful musicians and singers, Reverend Christina Leon Tracy, our senior minister, and Adam Robinson, our AV tech, supporting all of our technology from his home. Thank you to everyone who has made this morning's service possible. This year, we are focusing on growing resilience. We are digging in to what it means to grow ourselves and our communities to be sources of life, even when things get tough. Right now, we are in the weeks of our Planting Roots theme. Thank you for joining us as we go deeper, finding nourishment for the days ahead. We are so glad you're here. I invite you to settle in to your space, wherever you are, setting aside your week in whatever way you are able, so that we can be together fully, even from afar.
May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be one. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be one. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be one.
Hi there! Welcome to our Time for All Ages. If we haven't had the chance to meet yet, my name is Allie Peters. I'm our new intern minister here at the fellowship. This girl here on my lap is Jess. And since I'm new here, there's one thing that I have been so excited to do that I haven't had the chance to do yet. Can you guess what that is? It's the Wonder Box! I went and borrowed this Wonder Box from the fellowship so that we could do a Wonder Box here together today. We take time to wonder because as Unitarian Universalists, we know that wondering is an important skill. In fact, fostering a lifelong sense of curiosity is one of my favorite parts of being a Unitarian Universalist. It allows me to continually learn and to change my mind as I learn. Now, this is going to be a little bit weird because I had to record this video ahead of time. So right now, this is me in the past talking to you from the future. Which is cool, but it also kind of stinks because that means that I can't read whatever great guesses you're typing into the chat box today about what is in our Wonder Box. But I'm sure that there are some really great guesses, and everyone else who is with us here on our Zoom call can read your guesses. So go ahead and wonder, take a guess about what is inside our box this morning, and then type your guesses into our chat so that everyone else can see. I'll give you guys a little time. I'm just waiting to let people take some guesses in the chat box. I'm sure there's some great ones. Is someone guessing pizza? I hear that's a thing that people guess around here. Could be pizza in this Wonder Box. Who knows? Okay. Let's open the box and find out. Today, in our Wonder Box, we have a beautiful flower. Wait a second. Something's wrong here. This was supposed to be a flower, but all I have is a pot with some dirt in it. Do you see the dirt? Oh, geez. My first Wonder Box, and it's already not going how it was supposed to go. I'm so disappointed. I planted a seed in this pot because I wanted us to have something beautiful in our Wonder Box, like a flower. You know, these days the world can feel kind of hard, like a difficult place to be, and things are always changing, and I tend to feel really uncertain, and I just wanted to bring something beautiful into the world that would make us all smile. This was supposed to be a flower. I don't know. My phone's ringing. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, there we go. Hello? Hey, oh, it's my partner Justin. Do you mind if I put you on speakerphone? Okay. Hey, I'm in the middle of filming my Time for All Ages for this worship service. Justin, say hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Not great, honestly. Remember, I told you I was going to plant a flower to have for our Wonder Box, and it didn't work. All I have is a pot with some dirt in it. There's no flower.
Well, when did you plant the seed?
Yesterday?
Yesterday. Allie, seeds take time to grow.
Well, I thought I'd at least have maybe a little sprout or something. How long do I need to wait?
I don't know. It's different all the time. Sometimes the seed can take a week. Sometimes seeds just hang out underground for a few months before they grow.
What? So you're telling me I should just put this pot back in the Wonder Box and wait and then try again some other time?
Allie, you're keeping your seed in a box?
Well, yeah, but it's not just any box. It's a Wonder Box.
Allie, seeds need sunlight and water to grow. You need to take care of a seed.
Really? But I mean, what's the point of that? I can't even see anything happening to this seed. I can't see it. All I see is the same dirt that was in there yesterday.
You know that the seed is there. You just have to have some faith that if you take care of it, it will grow into something cool. And if for some reason it doesn't, trust that you can try again.
Oh, when you put it that way, I never thought about how it takes faith to grow a plant. I mean, I guess it's kind of like that with other stuff too, right? Like sometimes when life feels hard or scary, it's difficult to see the good stuff in the world, like love, or like our connection to each other, or our connection to the earth. But like you say, if we have faith that that kind of good stuff is there, and if we take care of it just like a seed, then I guess that's how it grows into something that makes our world beautiful, huh?
I mean, yeah, totally.
Cool. Well, I guess in our Wonder Box today, instead of a flower, we had a seed and some dirt in a pot, which if you think about it, it's just as cool, because someday this seed is gonna be a flower if we have enough faith to take care of it, right?
Exactly.
So then, as we hear the rest of this morning's service and as we go about our lives this week, let's remember that even when it's hard to see, love and connection and all the other stuff in this world that's good and sacred are still there, just like this seed. And if we don't give up on them, if we have enough faith to take care of them and nurture them, then they can grow into something beautiful. Thanks, Justin. Take care, everybody.
Good morning. Our reading this morning is from American essayist, poet, and philosopher Henry David Thoreau. It is an excerpt from his 1862 essay titled The Dispersion of Seeds. In it, Thoreau writes, "Though I do not believe that a plant will spring up where no seed has been, I have great faith in a seed. Convince me that you have a seed there, and I am prepared to expect wonders."
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life
Earlier this summer, I helped a good friend transplant some ferns into her yard. And despite my repeated assurances that the roots are strong and that she will have amazing ferns next year, she is not currently convinced because at the moment, they look completely dead. However, as long as she continues to tend the dead plants, the roots will take, and next spring she will have a crop of strong ferns. It can be difficult to have faith that things will bloom once more from unseen roots, but we need to continue to tend all of those things in our world regardless. I am extremely privileged to have work that I love. It is rare that I find myself not wanting to go to work. However, those days when going to work does seem less than appealing, it has nothing to do with the work itself, but rather simply the overwhelming nature of life and everything happening in the world. On these days, I might find myself feeling adrift, untethered, or scattered. Yet once I'm in my office with a client in front of me, all or most of that dissolves away, and I am able to root myself in the present time and place. I am able to do this because for that time, my energy is fully focused on another person and what I can do for them in that moment. I may not be able to solve the world's problems, but at the very least, I can provide a safe space of healing for the person in front of me. Focusing on another human being and what I can offer them grounds me and gives me hope regardless of whatever else is happening in the world. The people that I love and all of the people that I interact with each day are my roots, and this is what I choose to tend and gives me hope every day. Every interaction that I have with the world around me is a seed, and whether or not that seed takes root or how it grows depends on many things, many that I have no control over, many of which I am unaware, but I always have control over what seeds I sow. And this is where I have the power to affect change, because each day I have a choice of how I would like to view the world, and I choose to focus on the joyful interactions I have with my family and friends, the opportunities I have to help clients live with less pain, the chances I have to brighten strangers' days, the random acts of kindness that I see from others, and the beauty in the world around me. This does not leave me blind to all of the world's problems. I can still remain educated on all of the issues and act accordingly to help move our society towards justice, love, and equity. But I choose to do so with an energy that has been fueled by love and hope, rather than anger and despair, and to focus on how I can make every interaction count towards positive change. When the world seems scary, uncertain, or hopeless, I look back to what roots with which I am blessed, and what I can do to grow those roots into something that can benefit the wider world.
Thank you so much, Catherine, for sharing with us your thoughtful and inspiring reflection. May we all find that same energy fueled by love and hope. Thank you. A few years back, I first mentioned to my family that I was thinking about adopting a dog. Now, the first response that I got from them was half a joke mixed with half genuine concern. "Allie," they said, "are you sure? You can't even keep a houseplant alive." Now, to you all, that may sound a little harsh, but in all fairness, my family was referring to real life data. There was one summer, and I'm not proud of it, I was house sitting for my parents while they were away, and it was my responsibility to keep the plants alive. Now, in all transparency, I'm a bit more competent than I let on during our time for all ages today. But still, after the summer was over, my parents came home to dry brown leaves, wilted stems, and drooping branches. So when I realized that my first sermon here at the fellowship would be for a service about seeds and growing roots, those were the words that I heard running around in my head. But Allie, you can't even keep a houseplant alive. Here's the thing. My struggle with plants is this. When I'm taking care of a seed or a plant, there's no immediate or instant feedback. There's no way in the moment for the plant to tell me what it needs or whether I'm on the right track. And this is even more true when that plant is just a little seed, a tiny capsule underground, sprouting roots out of sight. It's impossible to see anything happening below the surface. And the waiting can be unbearable. The not knowing is so hard. And it's easy to forget about the seed. The seed doesn't whine or nudge me like my dog does. It's easy to question whether it's even worth a try. A seed doesn't wag its tail or give me wet, slobbery kisses to let me know that I'm doing a good job. But my dog does. And then I came across our reading today that you heard earlier in the service from Henry David Thoreau. And it became clear to me that my struggle to develop a green thumb is a part of a larger struggle, a struggle with faith. You heard Thoreau earlier proclaim that he has great faith in a seed. I have great faith in a seed, he said. Convince me that you have a seed there and I am prepared to expect wonders. If you're like me, you might be used to hearing that word faith in a different and specific context, right? Faith in a God, faith in a dogma, faith in a creed that can sometimes feel like it chafes against our rational brains. That word faith, it can sometimes feel uncomfortable, right? It can feel uncomfortable enough that I actually toyed with the idea of titling my sermon for today, The Other F Word. Sorry. But Thoreau here, he points to faith in a different way. Not God faith, dogma faith, or defying logic faith, but just plain old, simple faith in its oldest sense. The origins of the word faith come from the Latin fides, referring to loyalty and trust. And in the early 14th century, faith came to mean holding something to be true when there is incomplete evidence. When we look at a spot of soil where a seed has been planted, there is incomplete evidence that anything is going to happen. There's incomplete evidence that anything is actually even there. It can be easy to forget or ignore that seed that's hidden under the ground. The bare looking, desolate, empty soil. No sign of life yet, no hint of hope that anything will grow. It can be easy for things to feel pretty bleak. That's a feeling I'm sure many of us can relate to these days, right? Things feeling pretty bleak. We're enduring a lot. A global pandemic, a high-stakes election, desperation in the call to racial justice, an escalating climate crisis, not to mention all the personal struggles we may face in our own lives and in our communities. That is a lot to hold. And things can feel pretty bleak. As I wrestle with this, I find myself grateful for the words of Eddie Hillsome. Eddie was a young Dutch Jewish writer who wrote as a witness to the persecution of Jews in Amsterdam during the early 1940s. She was deported and killed in Auschwitz in 1943. During Eddie's time in a transit camp, a detention center for Jewish people before they were sent away to concentration camps, Eddie wrote these powerful words. She said, "There is a really deep well inside me, and in it dwells God. Sometimes I am there too. And that is all we can manage these days. And also all that really matters. That we safeguard that little piece of you, God, in ourselves." I want to hear that again. That is all we can manage these days. And also all that really matters. That we safeguard that little piece of you, God, in ourselves. Now, personally, I'll share that I don't always find myself leaning very naturally into the name God or into God language in my own personal theology. Still, when I read this, I feel Eddie's point deep down in my bones. Like she's unveiling to me something powerful, something important. That is all we can manage these days, and also all that really matters. That we safeguard that little piece of you, God, in ourselves. Now, if Eddie's use of the name God keeps you from tapping into the wisdom that is present here, I invite you to substitute in that which is meaningful and sacred for you. That is all we can manage these days, and also all that really matters. That we safeguard a little piece of the divine, that we safeguard a little piece of love, that we safeguard a little piece of connection, that we safeguard a little piece of the Spirit, that we safeguard this little piece in ourselves. That is all we can manage these days, and all that really matters. Things can sometimes feel pretty bleak. Nobody knows that better than Eddie Hillsome, writing from that detention camp only 8 decades ago. It's sometimes hard to feel like there is very much we can do about everything going on. The fear and the suffering can feel so big and out of our control. Or perhaps we are just so worn down by stress and exhaustion. But something we can do is safeguard a piece of what is good and sacred and holy. Safeguard it in ourselves. That's the seed under the soil, isn't it? Perhaps when we look around, it's hard to see the divine or love or connection or whatever it is that we value, whatever that force, that spirit is that moves us. But that doesn't mean that it isn't there, under the dirt, under the muck. And what we can manage to do is to remember it, to not forget about it, to tend to it, to nurture it. Perhaps all we can manage to do is to have faith that if we do all these things, that seed will grow into something beautiful. You know, a seed is a powerful thing. I love this quote that I came across in a blog once. I couldn't find who to attribute these words to, but someone, somewhere, once said this: seeds are not dramatic. They work slow and silent revolutions. Seeds work slow and silent revolutions. Let's think about that. I mean, an entire forest can lie within a seed, right? If it's given enough chance to grow. That seed, that thing that you know to be sacred, it's there. And it's within us. And when times feel bleak, when life is hard, safeguarding that seed, nurturing that seed, it can be enough. Enough to let the seed work its revolution. At this point in our worship, we are blessed to have a chance to be present with the fellowship choir as they share with us today's special music. And during that song, if you feel so moved, I invite you to type into our chat box what your seed is. What is it that you feel called to safeguard? What is something that is divine and sacred for you, lying within you? Let us together be reminded of all these seeds as we nurture them into revolutions. May it be so, and amen.
Sharing our individual joys and concerns helps us collectively to grow resilience. We invite you now to type into the chat box any personal news you might wish to share with our community so we can hold space with you as we worship together. If you would like to connect further with me or Reverend Leah or a care team member, please let us know directly. You can still submit your joys and concerns on our website or by emailing Reverend Leah or any member of staff to be included in our weekly Joys and Concerns email. Now, let us breathe into this shared silence and then join together in our sung response.
And we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give, we have our thoughts to receive, and we believe that sharing is an answer.
This week, we are so honored to hear from our intern minister, Allie. Thank you, Allie. Next week, we will be participating in the UU the Vote service. UU congregations all over the country will be participating in this service in different ways, and we're excited to take part too. In that service next week, you will be hearing from UU leaders including our Unitarian Universalist Association president, Susan Frederick Gray, about why our faith calls us to involvement and commitment in electoral justice. In preparation for that service and in honor of our commitment to UU the Vote this year, I invite you to give generously to our special collection this morning, to give directly to the UU the Vote campaign, to support our state and national organizing staff, phone bank efforts, postcard campaigns, and all the other efforts to live out our Unitarian Universalist values out loud this election season. The video that we're about to watch has the information about how to give, and it shows UUs around the country living their values in public, including a photo of the Riggers family from our very own fellowship. Enjoy the video, and thank you for giving generously.
As we come to the end of our service, we will extinguish our chalice flame, even as we still hold its light in our hearts. As we extinguish this flame, let us go our ways with hope in our hearts, with our spirits renewed, and with a deeper understanding of life's mystery. Let us carry the light of compassion and commitment to build a better world. After our closing words, we will have a small breakout group, just like usual, for 15 minutes of connection and conversation. In a moment, we will hear a short postlude song. If you do not want to participate in small group conversations, then please use that postlude music time to log off and leave this Zoom meeting. If you choose to stay, I encourage you to learn each other's names and pay attention to the timer in the corner of your screen so that everyone gets a chance to share. And with that, grow in resilience, grow in strength. Go in rootedness, deepening your connections. Go in peace, knowing we embrace each other even now from a distance.